So in our previous video, we pretty much addressed what the inner child was, but the most important thing that we always deal with is inner child trauma. And this video is going to be showing you how to pinpoint the things that have caused your trauma and if your inner child is still wounded. Like wounded, ouch. Let's get to it. If this is your first time visiting my channel, make sure you click on the subscribe button right there and smash that bell as well so you get a notification every time I put out a brand new video. And also click on that like button as well because it does help me quite a bit. In today's video, we are talking about trauma. And I'm talking about trauma, like not the heavy stuff, like no, not like the heavy stuff, like not the bad stuff, but like just inner child trauma. Inner child trauma meaning those emotional negative experiences that you carry with you as an emotional pattern as a part of your personality. Childhood trauma can rear its ugly head in one of three ways. The first is emotional neglect, meaning that your parent or guardian did not attend to your need for love, support, protection, and guidance, which can result in you feeling emotionally neglected, which becomes a form of trauma. And the second way is psychological neglect or abuse. This happens predominantly when parents fail to listen to you, fail to embrace you, and nurture who you are and who you've always been since you were a kid. Excessive scolding, like the French say, reprimande, or yelling, over time can become very toxic and traumatic for you. And number three, which is physical neglect or abuse. The most important element of a loving relationship is physical safety and nourishment. You can observe this in nature with fathers and mothers providing nourishment for the chicks, cubs, or pups with the essentials such as food, shelter, safety. When lacking these essentials, the experience might become extremely traumatic for a child. And if you've been through this, then your inner child experienced it and is still probably carrying the trauma from such an experience. Excessive amount of physical abuse in a form of physical punishment, and I mean way too much punishment, in a form of whoopings, beatings, in the attempt to gain control, dominance, and respect by the guardian over a child can contribute dramatically to a child's inner trauma. Meaning that if you got slapped, kicked, hit, punished, tortured for any little thing that you did wrong, that can dramatically affect you. And if you've been through that, I suggest that you don't ignore it and stay until the end of this video to figure out if you've gotten a wound from that experience and how it may affect the man or the woman that you have become today. Okay, on a serious note, let me take the time to acknowledge that if you've been through something extremely traumatic, such as rape, sexual abuse, physical trauma, torture, or even a violent situation where you witness death or anything extreme of that sort, I recommend that you seek professional help. It is definitely going to be the best thing that you need to get love, support, and healing. It is something that you should definitely invest in. Not only limit yourself to doing awareness work like this video. Definitely reach out to people that can help. It will totally benefit you. Here are some signs that you have had traumatic emotional experiences. And if you identify with one or more of these things, that just symbolizes that the wound is still present in you and it might need some attention and healing. So let's get to it. Now the following are statements, and if they ring true to you, make sure you make a note of it because at the end of the video, I will be sharing with you what that means and what that symbolizes. I feel like there's something wrong with me in the deepest part of my core. I lack a strong identity which makes me want to be a people pleaser. I have trouble letting go, so I hold on to things that no longer serve me, whether it's relationships, friendships, objects, and environment, as well as experiences that I've had. I feel guilty for standing up for myself. Like you feel terrible because you decided to have your own back. I don't feel enough as a man or a woman. I consider myself to be a terrible sinner and that I'm going to go to hell. Hail Mary. I'm very critical of myself and I always criticize myself for being inadequate. So every time I don't do something well, I'm like, you idiot, stupid. Like that's what I mean. Exactly, yeah. I'm overly proud and a perfectionist. I'm an addict or I have an addiction, meaning that if you find something that feels good, you tend to be very attached to it to the point that it now has power over you. so that you don't run it anymore and you feel like you need it in order to feel whole. That's an addiction. I have trouble starting or finishing things. Something that I struggle with is whenever I start something, I have a very hard time finishing it. And that's also for my childhood wounds. So, yeah. I'm afraid to express strong emotions such as sadness and anger. Feeling that you can't express those emotions can come from a place of trauma. I am distrustful of myself and others. I avoid conflict at all costs. I'm afraid of people and I tend to avoid them. I never felt close to my parents or guardian, meaning you never felt close to your dad or never felt close to your mom, or you never felt close to both of them, which makes you feel alienated in your own family. From childhood, that can be pretty traumatic. I'm afraid to be abandoned, and I hold on to anything that shows the slightest hint of leaving or disappearing from my life, whether it be a relationship, whether it be a girlfriend or boyfriend, whether it be a state of being happy and I'll do anything to stay happy, or being afraid to be alone and I'll do anything to not be alone, or an experience or an environment, or being a part of a social group and I'll do anything to be a part of that because I'm afraid to be abandoned. And this is the most important one of them all. I have difficulty saying no. That is huge. If you struggle with saying no, trust me, I've been there, and that's something that I struggle with every single day. You have some wounds within you that make you feel like it's wrong for you to set boundaries and say no to things that don't fulfill you, things that don't serve your highest happiness or your highest excitement. Being able to say no is the highest form of self-love, and if you can't do that because of some childhood experience, you got knocked out. Yeah, you did. I know that. I've been there. Now take the time to pause this video, rewind, and go through them again, and make a note of every single one that you feel resonates with you. Now there are so many more examples out there, and I'll make sure to leave a link in the description of this video so you can go and double check and see. Maybe you don't associate with the ones that I just named, but there could be one that I didn't name out there that you could find yourself associated with, and it could totally help you a lot. But if any of these statements ring true to you, that means that you have a wound from your childhood trauma. That means that deep down there's a trauma that has happened in your childhood that has wounded you, and you've been carrying that wound with you until today, which may be manifesting itself in a form of these statements that I've made that you may be feeling and telling yourself on a day-to-day basis. If all of these statements resonated with you, then healing your inner child should be your number one priority on a day-to-day basis. If you have 5 or more of these, this just means that you need to take some time each day to reunite yourself with your inner child, gain awareness of this trauma that happened in the past, and start to work on healing them. At least for 5 to 10 minutes each day, take some time for self-awareness and go back within yourself and ask yourself why you originally feel that way and what can be done about it. If you identify with 0 of these statements, then congratulations, you, my friend, are lying to yourself. But on the real though, if you've done the work and you don't associate with any of this, well done, congratulations to you, because that takes guts. It takes guts. I'll be doing part 3 of this video, which is how to heal your inner child trauma. The final step that you need, and you can implement that in your life and start to deal with these wounds that have not been dealt with. So if you feel like this video will be helpful to someone, make sure you share with as many people as you can. And again, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Click on that bell as well. Smash the like button. Show me some love. I do appreciate it, and I will be coming back next Sunday with the 3rd part to this video. I appreciate you for watching. This is Jumping In with the Awakened Soul Tribe, and my goal with this channel is to provide you with knowledge, because knowledge is power, power to free yourself. But do you want to?